Welcome into the local hardwood here on Roco Radio and RocoRadio.com. I'm Joe Dexter. Glad to have you along as we get ready for the basketball season. We start our coaches interview series with the head coach of the Lady Cougars, Jesse Wall. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Joe. Appreciate you having me on.
Glad to have you along as we talk hoops. Last year, 24-4 for your squad. Lots of returners. Let's start there. Actually, let's start with those that you aren't returning. The one that sticks out to me is Lily Stripmatter. Man, she was impressive for you the last few years. How do you replace Lily, and how does it feel not having her in your program?
I tell you, two seniors last year, Lily and Macy, but Lily was there for 4 years. I've known her my entire life. My grandfather and her grandfather are good friends, and then I've seen her grow up. From when I was a kid to now seeing her grow up is just losing her is tough on me personally. But, I stay in touch with her. She's at Averett doing well. Matter of fact, plays tonight. I'm going to head up to Danville to see her play her first game tonight. So, losing her is tough. But the great beauty of high school sports is that you're going to lose them all at some point. So they have to all live their lives and do things. And the kids get older as when they leave, but they're always the same age for me on my team, so you got to get on and move past that.
Coach, you return two all-conference players and an honorable mention conference player. The two all-conference players, Reese Pirtle and AGP, Ava Grace Pruitt, and then Renaya Hargrove returns as well. Are those the players you're looking to lead this season?
Yes, and for a change, it feels like since this group has been this senior group now, the three of them, when they were freshmen, we had people didn't play. And then they were sophomores. We had some more that didn't play we were expecting. Now last year was finally the first sense of continuity we've had, and now we're not young anymore. We've been young for what feels like forever with this group, and now these kids aren't young. They're the ones that have to lead us. So, yes and no. I mean, I'm looking for them to lead, but I'm looking for them to lead by example. They've been there. They know what we're doing. They know what we want to accomplish, and they have to go out, show up, and do it, and let the other ones below them know this is how we want to be. This is what's okay for Rockingham County girls basketball. This is what's not okay, and lead from those standpoints. From a leadership and tangible perspective, look, I mean, I'm looking for one. It's not that I don't think anybody is doing a poor job of leading, but for the last 3 years, Lily Stripmatter was the leader. And I've got to find one. And you see things grow. Every team's different. So we're going to grow. Someone's going to merge into it. And we'll see how that goes from there.
Coach, let's talk about AGP a little bit more offensively and defensively, what she brings to the table. What do you see from her on a nightly basis as far as impacting the game?
She does. She's smart. Obviously, she is skilled. She's a good shooter of the basketball. She's a good dribbler, even though she doesn't think she is. But what she impresses me about it is the things she can see offensively, making passes and seeing somebody that's cutting before that's happened, and with the same thing on defense. She creates a lot of turnovers, a lot of steals, but a stat that a lot of people don't stat that I try to look at is just deflections. And she gets her hands on the basketball so much. Just being like this sounds dumb, but cliche, but it's like a gnat at a barbecue. They're always there. You can't get away from them no matter what you're doing. They're always around. And she's able to do that defensively, just really pestering people, making you feel uncomfortable. So obviously, like I said, she's a skilled basketball player, but the things that she does with her mind and smartness can kind of set her over.
How about Reese Pirtle? What does she bring to the table and rebounding side of things? How important is that for your guys' success this season?
Oh, man. Well, first with Reese, Reese is she's had to grow up. What I mean by that is she's my big, and she's not a big kid. So, but she's the big, and she gets beat. But I don't have to worry playing 2-3 zone last year, outside of the one game with Amani Williams with Smith in the conference championship game. That's the only time that anybody's big person had any kind of impact against us, because Reese holds her own down there. She's strong. She's able to block shots. She's very lanky, very agile, and reaching up to get the basketball defensively. And honestly, I want her rebounding to improve, but she gets rebounds, she gets her hands on it. But from a defensive perspective in particular, I do not have to worry about the middle. And that's something that is a huge weight off the defensive shoulders when you can play the post one-on-one and don't have to worry of doubling it, don't have to worry of different matchups coming up. If you can have that makes you put more pressure in other places on defense. But to answer the rebounding question, I mean, it's no secret. You saw us play all year last year. This year, if we can't rebound, that's what's going to beat us. We had a tough time scoring against Stuart Kramer last year, but end of the day, second chance points for other teams. That's what happens. That's how we lose. Did we play well offensively last year to end the year against Kramer? We did not. That being said, though, the kid that they had that's so good, and them too, we held them to what we wanted to hold them to. We held her to what we wanted to hold her to, and then we don't score. But a lot of that happens. Those shots, we played really good defense, but the defense is only as good as when you come up with the ball. And I tell them in practice, we have to – if we don't get the ball, it doesn't matter what we work on defense. At the end of the day, you have to get the basketball. We can work on blocking out. We can work on any type of rebounding drills you want to do. But if you don't have the desire to go get it, it's all for naught.
Coach, those second chance points, I think, in high school basketball are everything, and I think that's a big part of what you guys do. It's not just getting the rebound, it's getting those second chance points and the good
Absolutely.
looks. And what is the emphasis of that when you're coaching and in practice of getting the good look after getting the rebound?
So, we have I have a lot of unselfish basketball players. And what I mean by that is, like, we'll come in practice. The matter I get at things in practice are we pass up the great shot. I mean, we might get a good shot on the pass, but it's not just go ahead and shoot it. Or we get an offensive rebound, and instead of going up strong, we might kick it out for an open three-pointer or open drive. And I love that. But at the same time, let's just go ahead and score. Like, it doesn't. I don't care who scores. Let's just go ahead and score. It doesn't matter to me if we have 60 points and everybody scores, or if we have 60 points, one person did it. That's fine. I want to score. The score stays is what we want to do. And going straight back up is an emphasis that I try to get on them into practice, but it's also the same time is don't be too nice. It's something I say a lot. Go score. Like, just score the basketball. We run offenses to practice offenses, but at the end of the day, the offense is designed to put the ball in the basket. So however we can do that, let's put the ball in the basket. But going on the same thing, I tell them, talking about winning and competing in games, I sound like a broken record, and these seniors in particular now can probably quote me before pre-games, but I tell them the same thing every year. If we can limit our turnovers, rebound the basketball, and make our free throws, you're going to be in 90% of the games you play. If you can do those three things, you're going to have a chance to win at the end of the game. And if you don't do one of those things, it changes drastically. So what we try to harp on are those three. We want to make our foul shots, we want to limit turnovers, and we got to rebound. And rebounding has been the weak link, and that's what we've got to get better at, got to improve on, and we'll just see what takes us this year.
That being said, Coach, I believe that you probably stand on the fact that you got to be ready for your moment. You are a coach that likes to play 2 different squads, 3 different squads, and rotate a lot at times during the season. How important is it for players to know that their moment's coming and to be ready for it and to step into that spotlight?
I mean, it's tough like anything. I'm a firm believer. Everybody on a team has a role, and you have to buy into your role and do that role well. And it depends on how I've always liked to frame things. If you don't like your role, you have to work hard to improve that role, to change that role. And have a conversation to change that role. We can see what we can do, but you have to earn the next spot. And it's always a next man up mentality, next girl up in this sense, but next up. If something happens and something changes, you get into foul trouble, there is no, all right, well, we're going to pretend she's only got 3 fouls. No, she's out of the game. So the next person up has to be there. And that's tough. It's tough we got 12 kids on the team, and I'm proud of all of them. They all work hard. One thing, to side note before I answer your question, just makes me think about it. This is day 9 of practice today, and I've got to give hats off. This is the first time since I've been coaching all 9 days that we have not lost intensity. We've not lost effort. that we have worked extraordinarily hard through 9 days. And that's a blessing to have because, everybody, you're going to get mad a couple of times to start the year because trying to get things up, trying to get them to go. But they've been competing. They've been working hard. They've been giving lots of effort. And that's all I can ask for. But going back to knowing when it's your time, in practice, a lot of times we switch up games, switch up teams. And, it's not – you can see and the kids can see, I have to work on this. I'm going up against this person now who's a lot better. It might be better than me. I've got to get better at this. But at the same time, we work on those different lineups because this might be a lineup. And I don't know if it is or not. I tell the parents, I tell the kids at the end of every year, I hope everybody nothing would make me happy that everybody playing all the time, but it's not realistic. So having your role, knowing your role, and doing what you're supposed to do and being the best at your job, no matter what it is something I try to preach and try to strive with kids.
Coach, tell us about your coaching staff heading into the season.
So I got same guys that's been with me the last couple of years. Coach Williams, Mike Williams, he coaches golf here. He helped the boys basketball for a while. He's been with me since I started. Coach Williams is a fantastic guy. He's very knowledgeable in the game of basketball. And one thing that he does that I am blown away by is his recollection when watching film and breaking things down. Almost after every game, I chart it, but he charts it. He'll give me possession by possession time, what happened, why this happened, what turnover, what caused this, and broken down after every game. And it's valuable. This stuff that the kids don't see a lot. People don't see those sides of things of coaching. They don't understand we watch film all the time. They don't understand what we do to get better. But he's very, very knowledgeable on that. Another one is Coach Bottoms, BJ Bottoms. He coaches football here and teaches science. He's new to the staff as of last year. Last year was his first year, or I'll take that back. He coached with me, I think, my second year coach, and then went away for a little bit and came back. He does everything I ask him to. He's pretty knowledgeable when it comes to post play and how things are working down there. He's really trying to help us on the rebounding side of things. But he's very good too at giving ideas about do you like this? Do you like this in this situation? And I tell them all the time, if you're not going to say anything, you're not doing me any good. This goes to both of them. If you're not going to give me ideas, it's not doing any good. I don't want to yes man, so to speak. I want to if I have an idea and you think it's bad, tell me. Let me know. That doesn't mean I'm going to listen to you, but it does mean that I hear it and I hear another thought. And I guess he's on my staff. My dad is there too, Woody Wall. He's a longtime coach here, him and WA both. But Dad he's coming around. It kind of started when I first got the job. I'm sure you might know this story, might not. When I first got it, I was 22 years old, and I would not let him in the gym. He'd come to practice. I wouldn't let him near it. And a lot of people didn't understand it, but I was really big on the kids had to understand that this was they had to listen to me, not him. And I also felt at the time, I'm 22, I walk in the gym, I might listen to him. So I didn't know who the kids had to know. So now he really wasn't around a ton as far as practice goes until COVID. I guess we could talk about now. COVID back then, you had all the people couldn't get him in, but if I made him a coach, he could get in every game. I didn't have to worry about numbers. So he got there, he was in coaching. And then from that point forward, he's kind of stuck around. And, it's a blessing to have his ideas, his mind, how he sees the game. We don't see things eye to eye at times. At times we do. We argue a lot. It seems you might tell me something and my dad could tell me the exact same thing, but I take it like it's hostile when it comes from him. I don't know why. It's a small flaw. But, as much as we get into it about things, he's the best supporter we got. Biggest fan. It's an absolute blessing to have him around.
3 coaches have coached the Lady Cougars, and they all share the Wall last name. What does that mean to you and your family?
It's special. It is special. WA is the biggest fan of Rockingham County women's basketball that there is, and he's a big critic of it, but he's the biggest fan there is. He loves the kids, treats them like their own. It's so important to him. And the same thing with Dad. It's so important to him. For me personally, to be able to follow up and do that, it's tough. But at the same time, I love it. Like I look forward to it. It's ingrained in me. It wouldn't be. This is Rockingham County High School is all I know. I say I'm ignorant to the real world because I've never been outside of it. Other than my 4 years I spent at Ferrum College, I've never been anywhere else. This is what I know, and it's big shoes to fill. I don't. If I'm half of what either one of them are, I think that's pretty successful, and that's something that I try to not let them down. Let the lead up to things that we're supposed to do to get better, but also try to change a little bit to make our program better, to move forward, see if we can get to bigger heights, bigger things. But to be here with them two, being able to come to games, and it's I can't really put it into words of what it means to me. I can't think of, to my knowledge, if WA has missed a game, it has been because he's gone to scout another game for me, or maybe we were playing bad at that time. He didn't want to come, but I can't think of many games that he's missed. And to my knowledge, the only game my dad has ever missed was a couple years ago. We played at Eastern Guilford at home, and he was going. He had been diagnosed with cancer and just had a procedure recently and couldn't make it out. And so only games I can think of that they've missed. And it's a blessing to have that kind of support system for them too. My family, my wife. She brings my son to almost every home game, tries to come to the away games. My brother and his family, all three of his kids and his wife, they come to every game. You can see a little wall section that sits, and it's like that. And even, so I get off the topic of my family, my mom's parents were coming to Rockingham games before they were even dating, before my mom and dad were dating. They were coming to games and watching WA and watching the girls, watching the boys, and then they kind of carried it on. I mean, it's a group of this program's a family. When I tell it to the kids, the new ones, they get it, but they don't. Like this is my family, and that's something that is a blessing for me for sure.
When you dissect the Wall family, you'll see blood that is silver and black for sure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Coach Wall joining us here on our season preview as hoops right around the corner. Let's talk about that schedule. One word comes to mind, gauntlet, and that's a good thing in my mind. You go to the Mid-State Conference, you join your county foes in conference. It allows you to open up that schedule, including a state champion twice and a runner-up twice, or once, Bishop McGinnis on a Saturday, and also you get Western Alamance in a home-and-home. Let's start with Western Alamance. What was the importance to you in scheduling those games?
Well, looking at when we're going through the realignment process, one thing that I was really big on is Rockingham County forces us to play the county schools twice. No, for football one time, but the county schools twice in every other sport. And I understand that. I agree with it. It helps Gates financially for the building. It's good for all buildings. But I was a big advocate of, my team was a good example last year where, at times it could hurt us in RPI. And not to say every year is different. Teams grow, teams get better, teams get stronger. But, last year it was like if I was freed up to schedule games, it could help. And we're fortunate enough to get into the conference here. And you know how conferences work now. It's not – a lot of teams are making the playoffs. So, we want to win the conference. That is the goal. That being said, that doesn't carry the weight it did as far as playoffs perspectives. So being able to get in this conference did allow us to schedule games. And, I try to schedule pretty good non-conference. We're playing Ashboro twice, Bethany, who's up and coming, they're a very well-coached team. South Stokes twice, they're pretty strong. Bishop McGinnis one time. We're playing them at Burlington Williams on a Saturday. I can't remember the name of the showcase tournament that we're in, but we're playing there. Northwest Guilford's Christmas tournaments, 3 games there. I'm not sure who we're playing yet, but I would imagine that's a good field. Western Alamance twice, like you said. We're also playing Magna Vista, team out of Virginia that's pretty strong, year in, year out girls basketball, and that's what we wanted. We wanted to be able to compete in a non-conference, compete in a conference, and get those iron sharpens iron type of mentalities and try to see what we can do in the non-conference to get us better moving forward.
Coach, what are your goals for the season for you personally maybe, and then also the goals that you're sharing with this team that you want them to accomplish?
Personally, this is a very cliche answer, but, I want to win. My kids know this. I get I get mad sometimes. I get grumpy, I get ill with them, and I want to win everything. We could sit down right here and play checkers, and I'm going to do everything I can to beat you. I try to. My son and I, he's 4. We just started playing rock paper scissors, and I try to beat him every time. Just that's what we need to do. I need to win. And that being said, though, my biggest goal for me is always the same. That I want my kids to be good people. I want my athletes to work hard, understand the accountability that we have in things, because it's not always here right now in public schools and any school. And sometimes, we have a tendency to let kids off the hook some, and it's their job to grow up, and we're going to work hard. We want to have everything earned. We don't want anything given to us. We want to work hard to do what we're supposed to do and get better, and also just create bonds that go throughout. So, like, my first goal is always the same year in and year out. I want my kids to be good people. I want to create good people and kind of lead them in that fashion throughout the year. As far as basketball goes, I try to break the season up in a couple of different segments. We got right now, this is the preseason. We got a scrimmage coming up Thursday, playing Reagan here. Just kind of like finding some things out, figuring out where you need to work on, if we need to change some things. Then you got pretty much like non-conference kind of goes to Christmas. Around it, we want to have a winning record. We want to win the non-conference. We want to do everything we can to win the non-conference. What I mean by that is we don't want to be below 500. We want to have a winning record non-conference. I'd love to be undefeated, but we want to compete. Biggest thing is competing. Then you go break it down. The next part, you got your conference season, and then that leads into postseason, which you obviously want to be undefeated in all of it, but the biggest heart that I've got is I want to compete in everything. We're playing some good teams that, in basketball at times, like we've played some good ones and we've always really competed, but playing some more kind of different times of the year, we want to just show up. Let's show up and play. I'm a firm believer. I think if we come out and play our game, we've got a chance. So we just want to come out, play, see what happens. And as far as like actual legit goals, I want to win the conference. I'd like to make a little run, but we just got to take one game at a time. Right now, we got Reagan Thursday. That's the focus, is Reagan Thursday. So then once that ends, we'll move on to the next one.
Coach, well, your team embodies that spirit every time they play on the court. They play hard. They leave it all out there. And I appreciate you supporting us, and we look forward to this great season upcoming.
Absolutely. I know I'll tell you, but what you guys are doing is fantastic. Like, it's a blessing for Rockingham County, not just the high school, but Rockingham County. The athletes, the coaches, it builds something for them. People are looking in. Kids notice when you're there. The fans notice when you're there. They listen to you, and it's an absolute blessing to have you guys around. You guys are very much appreciated. I want y'all to know that.
Thank you, Coach. We appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you at the court.
Yes, sir. Thank you.